Hello, I am ChessChuck. I am glad to see you here. Now that you know how the pieces move, let's proceed on our chess journey. In this lesson, we are going to learn about setting up the chessboard, capturing pieces, special moves, and checkmate. Let's get started. The chessboard. Before we get to the boring stuff about the chessboard, remember, chessboard is a battlefield, and you are a general in charge of your troops whose job is to destroy your opponent. A minute of boring content. Setting up the board. The board is always set up with the dark square on the bottom left-hand corner. White sets up its pieces on rows 1 and 2, and black sets up pieces on rows 7 and 8. The back rank from left to right should contain rook, knight, bishop, queen, king, bishop, knight, and rook. The pawns are placed on the second row in front of the other pieces. Always remember, if you set up the board correctly, the queen will be on the same color square as its own color. Now, on to my favorite content, capturing pieces. Capturing pieces is equivalent to destroying your opponent's army. If Napoleon's army had not been destroyed over 200 years ago, this video would have been done in French. Okay, now let's learn how to capture. When your piece moves to a square occupied by your opponent's piece, you simply remove that piece and replace it with yours. Capturing is pretty simple, and most importantly, extremely satisfying. All pieces capture the same way as they move, except pawns. Pawns capture one square diagonally forward. Here is how pawns capture. Finally, a couple of additional rules. Castling. It is a super important and a special move made by the king and one of the rooks. Castling helps to bring the rook, your heavy artillery, into battle, while making the king more secure. Here is how to castle. Move the king in either direction 2 squares towards the rook. Move the rook to the square next to the king on the other side. Here is another variation of castling. Several things to know before castling. Castling can only be done if neither the king nor the rook involved in the castling has moved before in the game. There must be no pieces between the king and the rook involved in the castling. The king cannot be in check. The squares that the king moves over during castling must not be under attack by any of the opponent's pieces. And the final rule for you to know, the one that is most often forgotten. On Passant, a pawn capture that can occur immediately after a player moves a pawn 2 squares forward from its starting position. Then on your next turn, and that turn only, you have an opportunity to capture your opponent's pawn. Winning the game. As we touched upon in the first lesson, the goal is simple: to checkmate your opponent's king. In other words, to put your opponent's king under attack, where the king cannot escape. That's called a checkmate. Super simple. Stalemate. If a player cannot make a legal move and their king is not in check, it's called a stalemate, which results in a draw. So a chess game can end up in a checkmate or a resignation, where the winner gets 1 point, or chess game can be a draw, where each player wins half a point. The game can end in a draw by agreement, stalemate, insufficient material to checkmate, threefold repetition, or the 50-move rule, where no pawn moves or piece captures were made during the last 50 moves. Wow, you know all the rules of chess. You are ready for the real fun stuff. In the next lesson, we are going to discuss basic strategies, ways to make your opponent's life miserable, and how to win at chess. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to give us a like and click subscribe. See you next time.